RTI.
February 13th, it's World Radio Day.
RTI.
Through FM, longwave, digital or the internet.
Radio hands you the mic, gives you the floor, listens to you.
RTI.
Radio, your anonymous access to verified information.
On the 13th of February, let's celebrate radio together with UNESCO.
RTI.
Indeed so. This is Radio Tetris International and Postcard from Poprad. I think we've got Rach, because I think we lost her. I hope we got Rach. Missed call from... Missed call from Rachel. Hello, Steve. We've had a bit of a rewiring today, well, this week. And to be perfectly blunt, I haven't tested any of it yet. So if it's working, it's a glorious miracle. I nearly said something terribly rude. Lee's in the studio, Rachel's there as well, but we're going to remind you of something yet again, because it's a very, very important day next Wednesday.
RTI.
February 13th, it's World Radio Day.
RTI.
Through FM, longwave, digital or the internet.
Radio hands you the mic, gives you the floor, listens to you.
RTI.
Radio, your anonymous access to verified information.
On the 13th of February, let's celebrate radio together with UNESCO.
RTI.
Verified information will be here on the Wednesday part of the show, with Lee and I doing some stuff as well. But only, don't worry, it's not long, it's 5 minutes only. Hello, mate.
Hello, how are you?
I'm all right, but you're a little bit away from your microphone as usual.
But he won't come near me.
Well, because it's not...
It's because you mended the studio and you broke everything. Are you there, Rach? Can you be heard?
We'll see.
We'll see? Why will we see?
Everything is broken.
I don't know. Is it? I don't know. Well, it doesn't sound broken, but I can't tell from the airwaves. I can only tell from in studio.
See, that's another bit is broken.
No, it's working beautifully, Rach. It's wonderful. Good afternoon to Dave. Dave's there.
Hello, Mr. Rhodes.
He will tell us off if we do anything wrong. Charles says... Oh, right. Charles says, hi, you. Hello, Charles. He says, hi to you all from me, love.
From him, love?
Yes, and he gives us lots of kisses. Paul says, what, no dinner jacket today, boys?
I tell you what.
I was going to wear mine, but he came scruffy.
No, it's not come scruffy. Rachel, listen to this. There's no snow. Well, there is snow on the mountains, but it's like being in Brisbane. It's so hot. I'm actually sitting here in my scanties.
He didn't come in his dinner jacket today, Paul, so I had to run out, get a T-shirt to wear, so I didn't upstage him on the radio. Because I'm nice like that. You don't believe that, do you?
If everybody could see the way I'm looking at you now.
Yes. They would all go get... Charles, as if I'm a bitch, dear. What's that? Lee did some of the rewiring. Yeah, that's the problem, Steve. He did.
No, I didn't.
Steve did. He did, mate. He did.
I sat here and watched these levels going up and down. I tell you, that was a bit shocking.
Yes, and they are going a bit up and down as well. But anyway, how's Rach?
Hello, Rach.
Oh my goodness! Hello, I'm so excited to actually be with you in a live way and not in a pre-recorded way. But it's even though Lee and I have lots of fun when we do these funny little things that we do.
Yes.
But it's nice to be with you. I got to tell you though, it's pretty hilarious. I just had a nap, you see.
A nap?
And yes, because at 9 o'clock they sent me a message.
What are you doing brushing leather at that time of night?
It was funnier if you said, what sort of app had you got?
Nap. Nap.
Yeah, a nap.
Yeah, and that's leather.
A nap
is an app.
An app. I had a nap, and I had a.
So you put her off,
Lee, look out! The producer's back. Look out!
Oh, wait.
At 9 o'clock, I got a message asking me to be at work at 4. So I thought I better have a little nap because I wasn't going to not come and see you.
Oh, right.
Absolutely not.
And
so I thought, no, I'll have a nap. And I'm so glad you asked, though, Uncle Eric, because I've got to tell you, 1,679 is our current total for the Leukemia Foundation.
Yes! Yes!
1,679. I had to change the goal from 1,000 because we beat it, and then I had to change it to 1,500.
Right. Stop.
Okay.
Right. This is not a... Oh, hang on. So, first of all, morning all from Robin. Hello, Robin.
Hello, Robin.
First of all, this is not a commercial break. This is an amazing thing that Rachel's doing. And pin back your luggles, get your pen and paper ready, and give us some money. Off you go, Rach.
Oh, it's just so exciting. I've joined the World's Greatest Shave campaign for the Leukemia Foundation, and on the 15th of March, I will be shaving my head, because that's a nice thing to do, to support people who are having chemo and little kids and so forth. No, it's fine. It's only hair. It'll grow back. But
Not in my case, it won't.
Well, yeah. Well, that I'll do it. I can be your proxy.
All right.
I can be your proxy. So, but I started off with a goal of $1,000, and we reached that goal a few weeks ago. So I changed it to $1,500, and then 3 days later I achieved that goal. So I raised it to $2,000, and it's looking like we're going to beat that goal too.
Wow.
So it's all very exciting. It really is. And if you want to get involved, you can do it either by going to, and yes, Steve, man, I'm about to do it, theconsumerwatchfoundation.com. There's an article I wrote with my link attached to that. Or you can go to worldsgreatestshave.com, and then you click a little button that says sponsor, and then you search for me by name, and you can do it that way.
Brilliant. Give us the direct website again.
worldsgreatestshave.com.
Worldsgreatest.com and...
Mm-hmm.
What?
And then you click sponsor.
I gave him a...
No, Ian, I've got something to say. I was waiting for my moment. Rachel, continue, and then I will support you.
Oh, I know you will, because you always do. Then you go to... If you go to worldsgreatestshave.com, you'll see a green button, and it says sponsor.
Yeah.
And then you search for me by name. You can either scroll down or you can type in my name. So you can say Rachel Brunsden Victoria,
yes,
which isn't my name. Victoria is the state I live in. And then you can sponsor me for as much amount of money as you like.
No, you're not a Victoria, are you, Rach?
No, I'm not a Victoria. I'm a Victorian.
Probably.
Are you not Sticky Vicky? Can I just say something very quickly about this?
Well, I've got something to say as well.
Oh, God. You've always got something to say.
I have a message.
Oh, heck.
If Lee shaves his head, an extra £20.
Yeah, right. So...
An extra £20 of hair will fall to the ground.
Can I just say, if you go to the consumerwatchfoundation.com, and Rachel's story is still at the top of the page, more or less. It's not quite at the top of the page, but it's more or less there. And it's quite fascinating, because what we have are pictures through the ages where Rachel was on Prisoner of Cell Block H, where she appeared on stage in New York, various other things that she's done, various stages of Rachel's hair. And it's a really fascinating, interesting, happy document for a good cause.
Some people are so easily pleased, aren't they, watching hair grow.
Yes, but some of them are quite frightening, and I'm not afraid to say there were some really atrocious moments, particularly in the 80s. The 80s had a lot to answer for in terms of...
Yeah, but it was 80s Rach.
It was, but they're quite hilarious. I mean, even if you want to just have a read and look at the pictures just for a giggle alone, it's worth it.
You need to go to the Consumer Watch Foundation, have a look, comment on it,
and
leave some money, press the green button. I've pressed the green button. Everybody else press the green button.
Right, quick hellos to Dom, to Clem, to Terence, to Mike, and Radomir as well. Hello, Radomir Novak, who's joined us as well. So thanks very much, guys and gals, from wherever you are. Quick bit of a reminder about Wednesday, the 13th of February. It's not a Friday, it's a Wednesday. Starting at 9 o'clock. RTIs, we submitted some stuff to UNESCO. And they wrote an email back going, oh, yeah, please, can you do that? So we're going to be supporting International Radio Day with a range of short programmes dealing with how to do things on a budget with tech. They're very, very small, 5 minutes maximum. And in addition to that, we've got a whole range of special programming coming up. So that when you can sort of figure all this stuff out, you can access this digital content and not have to... I mean, you can spend less money than buying an ordinary radio and achieve more. Is
You
that
can,
right?
you
Yeah,
can. It was
yeah,
really interesting. We
yeah.
did these interviews earlier this week, and they're quite fascinating. They show you what you can actually do with things that you think are redundant. But can I also say very quickly, go to the ConsumerWatchFoundation.com and you can read all about this.
Oh, that's true, yes.
Yeah, but not only can you read all about
But
this...
don't go right now.
No, don't go now.
No.
Well,
No.
you can. Yes, you can,
Well,
actually.
you could, actually,
You can
yes.
if you want. Because, listen, do you remember the good old days where you'd sat by the fire, reading your newspaper and listening to the radio? Well, Eric and I have recreated that situation on the Consumer Watch Foundation. You can now listen to RTI throughout the day, to all the programmes,
And read the news.
and read the news at the same time.
Hang on, and read the news as it happens.
As it happens, you can read the news while you're on
Just to conclude this sort of little frivolity, 2019 is the year to share how, on a shoestring budget, much lower than expensive shortwave systems.
Is that your teeth?
Yeah, probably. Communities, afternoon Mohammed, can enjoy and learn from the next generation of digital international radio via people like us on the interweb. So that will start. And some of the hours, you'll have to look around for the schedule. I will post it. But one of the hours we've specifically made, which starts in 1958 and comes to the present day, is the 50s to the present day history of Czech and Slovak music in the pop charts.
Very interesting.
I cannot believe how some of them used to sing, and I have to say, listening to a Czech version of She Loves You by the Beatles is hysterical.
Can I just say something?
Well, you're going to anyway.
Jan Sestek, who lives in, how do you say it, Brno?
Bruno.
In the Czech Republic, is known as the railway DJ. And he is actually the man who used to translate under the bedclothes the Beatles' lyrics and hand them out to bands within
Yeah,
the
you
Czech
used to
Republic.
listen to Radio Luxembourg and do it.
That's right, in the days when it was an oppressed state.
In the days before rock and roll. Boom, boom!
And he has submitted to the ConsumerWatchFoundation.com one of the most powerful photographs I've seen in a long time. That's off Jan. I want to say personally thank you to Jan for sending it to us, and to the photographer who took it, whose name escapes me completely at the moment because I can't say it. And go there, have a look at it, and comment on this beautiful, beautiful, wonderful, powerful photograph.
Indeed. And just to recap one more time, we'll probably do it later. Here we go again.
RTI.
February 13th, it's World Radio Day.
RTI.
Through FM, longwave, digital, or the internet.
Radio hands you the mic, gives you the floor, listens to you.
RTI.
Radio, your anonymous access to verified information.
On the 13th of February, let's celebrate radio together with UNESCO.
RTI.
And you know what time it starts? 9 o'clock Central European time, which is 8 in the morning in the UK. Goes right the way through to the evening as well. And there are some of the guys on RTI have made specific programmes just for World Radio Day.
Yeah.
So I thank them very gratefully. You're wonderful fellas. And who else we got to say hello to? Ali and to James C. We get on to the news. Jeremy Hardy. The radical comedian. He was a bit radical, actually.
He was very funny, very, very funny man.
And?
Yeah,
Well, he's of your sort of penchant.
my penchant. Can I just say, Dean, you've got your answer. It starts at 9 o'clock in the morning.
There you go.
Jeremy Hardy, he was what was classed as a radical comedian. And
Well, he was very political, wasn't he?
he was very political, but actually he straddled both universes. In his live act, he was outrageous. Without being rude or anything, he was just an outrageous and radical comedian. When he appeared, which gave him lots and lots of his money, Radio 4 on the news quizzes, interviews and things like that, he wasn't so radical. He was just incredibly funny. And
He was quite establishment. Come on, be real.
he was, really,
Yeah, he was.
That was the thing. He made it in both worlds. What a clever man.
Indeed. Steve Levy, the actor in Shameless, Ray O'Donovan, he died at the age of 58. Great programme, that. I actually used to enjoy watching that.
Did you indeed?
Yeah. I thought it was quite clever. Christoph St. John, who was a regular on CBS in the soap operas The Young and the Restless. He was found dead early Sunday morning in Los Angeles.
That upset you, didn't it, Rach?
Yes, it did. Well, Young and the Restless, I watched that for years because my mum loved it. This fellow has been on that show for 27 years, and that's a long time to have any job at all, especially on a soap. But it was horrible. His son killed himself about 4 years ago, and he never quite recovered. He never quite recovered. He then battled with depression and alcoholism and a few other things, but he still turned up to work and was able to function and do his job. But he just found it all too hard in the end, and they found him in a room surrounded by lots and lots and lots of booze bottles and lots and lots and lots of firearms. So
Oh dear.
it's just very, very sad. And they've had tributes to him all week all over social media and whatnot because he was such a mainstay in that program. But 52
absolutely.
is way too young to have left the planet.
Yeah, and the other thing is there was probably lots more in his brain somewhere to entertain people, which is quite sad, quite sad indeed. Emilio Sala has been regrettably found in the wreckage site just off the Channel Islands in the UK. The player who was about to start with Cardiff City, he was playing in France before, and he and the pilot of the Piper Malibu, they were both unfortunately found passed away, and it doesn't look like it was I don't know, something, but it was obviously a catastrophic failure, but not one of those traumatic bits where wings fall off and things like that. So it's just one of those sad events.
Very sad.
And we wish the family well. The DWP has apologised to a young man.
Young man?
Well, I'll call him a young man because he's young. Because they said he was fit to work. Now, I have an issue with this, a huge issue, in that the reason that the Department of Work and Pensions said this man, who's 64 years old actually, who weighed just 8 stone. Which
6 stone. 6 stone.
So 36, 96 pounds to other people. It's outrageous that he wasn't given money to enable himself to eat and support himself. And eventually it was sorted out. And the amount of attacks on social media about this poor man's situation, it just really shocked me.
He's sad. He's so sad, isn't he?
And I'm sorry, guys. I know some of you are not going to like this because I know that the actual buck stops with the boss, as it were. But at the end of the day, the DWP have admitted there was a mistake made. And they've admitted it, and they've given him the money back. But the mistake was made by a ruddy human being who didn't get it right.
They ticked the boxes. That's the problem. They ticked the boxes, and for some reason, a 64-year-old man who weighed 6 stone, couldn't stand by himself, had all sorts of different kinds of illnesses and health problems, was deemed fit for work. He couldn't get to it, so they stopped his money.
His money, yeah.
Yeah, for 2 years. Not for a week, not for a day.
I know, but the point is here that all right, you can tick boxes. I get that. But that's a job's worth doing something.
That's what they are.
They're jobs worth people. They're not human beings. So many of these people, I mean, we've got an expose coming up on somewhere else. And, oh, boy, I don't think I'll go back to the UK.
Which one's that?
It's to do with Greece.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yes. And we've established some really earth-shattering, scary links to how certain people are damaging British business. Now, I'll tell you, I am not. When that comes out, I ain't going back to England again. There is no chance. I might as well just wait for my Slovak passport and give up, because the jobs worth in this group of people are just insane. They are insane, and it seems to me that whereas before, if you worked in the civil service, it was a highly respected area.
Of course, it was.
Now, not a chance.
Here's two examples, very brief examples, right, of what goes on in Britain as far as social services and their various departments are concerned. Another expose which is coming up fairly soon, it's being worked on now by a very well-known journalist on our behalf. It'll appear on RTI and CWF. Is about a woman, a middle-class woman, very well off, nice house, good job, good business, who wants to adopt a child within her family. And because...
Very annoying.
Yeah, it's being contested by social services, and the only reason we can find out why it's being contested is because social services will not be able to pay an adoption bonus to one of their members. Now, the next example, and this is perfectly true, and I'll tell this very briefly, this is a personal experience going back quite a long time, a long time ago. I fell on hard times and got involved with, these kinds of people. They caused me nothing but problems for over 2 years. Ultimately had to admit that they got the whole thing wrong, that I was right by then. I was back on my feet. It wasn't a problem. I just needed a bit of help like everybody does at some time in their lives. And I couldn't do it because they had got it totally wrong. They paid me compensation for what they'd done to me. 2.5 years of my life to social services was worth £67.
Good Lord. Rachel, we're going to ask you to take the next story, because I think it's better if you do.
Well, I'm sort of torn about this story. Ivanka Trump has been depicted in a kind of an art installation, I suppose it is, in Washington, and it invites spectators to throw breadcrumbs at her to clean up. The reason why I don't find this terribly offensive is because we know how I have a very long and deep and real infatuation with vacuum cleaners. So
Yes.
I find this a delight. If they did it and put me in this installation, I would be absolutely overjoyed. But it is coming off as a little bit sexist and apparently an attempt to humiliate her. And I don't think that's too far from the truth. I mean, we poke fun at all the Trumps on a regular basis, especially, the Liberals, if you want to call them that. But this has really taken a lot of heat, particularly from, the Trump family themselves. And it says, like this quote, Eric Trump said, "Powerful woman who has done more than anybody else in Washington, D.C." And I thought, well, yeah, no, I don't think that's quite accurate, but that's okay. So they've asked for it to be taken down. It won't be. It's only for a very short time. I think it opened at the beginning of the month, and it only stays open until mid-month.
Yeah.
But they really need to get a bit of a sense of humour about themselves. These people, they take themselves way too seriously, and the fact that we find them all hilarious, it really makes their whole stance on it a bit silly.
Well, it's the same as the curator there has said, it's funny, it's pleasurable, it makes people feel powerful. It's not like throwing rotten eggs at somebody, as has happened in the past, or just ordinary eggs when they throw them at celebrities and politicians. A breadcrumb's not going to hurt. So if you vent your spleen throwing a breadcrumb on an art installation, who cares? We've got to stop being global snowflakes. We've got to start to laugh at ourselves again so we can get the humour in again.
And isn't there a positive aspect to it too? That actually this young Trump is actually cleaning up the mess left by her idiotic father.
Well, no, it's actually people in the art installation, not her dad. That was a joke.
But the tabloid.
It made me laugh after, though.
Yeah.
The tableau would suggest that that potentially is the case, but I think this is just it's just art, and art is. It's all in the eye of the beholder, isn't it, Uncle Lee? You interpret art your own way.
Art is there to change your view of the world.
Do you know what? I think art in concept changes as you go through your years as well.
Of course it does, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very much.
Art is there to give you a different view of the world.
Did you see that picture we got?
Which picture?
The one with what I call the clown face on it.
Yes.
Now, you saw that as art, didn't you?
Yeah, it's a lovely picture, really good.
When I first saw it, and boys and girls, it's an oil painting by, I won't say famous Slovak artist, semi-famous will do, and because he's not known around the world, so it doesn't matter. But the bottom line is, when I first saw it, I went, and then I kind of got to liking it.
You got the allegory of it. You started to catch on to the allegory.
And after about 6 months of going to a medical centre where on the way back we always have a cup of coffee, we went in and went, our painting's gone. And we were really annoyed. And the girl said, no, it's round the corner. I went, okay. And we went round the corner and we said, do you know what? We're going to put that up in the middle of our front room. And it just, I would never have entertained it 20 years ago. But today I will.
See, this is the thing. The first thing that leapt to my mind when I read this story.
No, Rach, you missed it.
Thing.
You missed it.
What?
Well, both of you missed it. You should have said, that's because we've been culturally trying to train you, Eric.
Well, that's true.
That could be true.
Why we missed it.
Mr. Philistine, Mr. Philistine has an art for art. Has an eye for art now.
Uncle Lee, to be fair, we missed it because we had never expected that to occur. But honestly, the very first thing I thought of when I read this, the very first thing I thought of was, I wonder what kind of vacuum they gave her.
I can imagine you doing that,
I went, I wonder if it was a Dyson or a Hoover or an Electrolux. Oh, I wonder.
And other manufacturers are available.
And in another way, you could say that they were sucking up to her.
Oh.
No, that's an allegory. That's an allegory.
Boom. Yeah, okay.
Can I just mention his picture again, though? Rach?
Some people find... What?
Go on, carry on.
Oh, I think some people found the whole thing crummy.
I bet they made a load of bread, though.
Yeah, but you're slicing through all these jokes.
Oh, you're just trying to butter me up.
No!
I was going to go down the Bloomer. We're in a bit of a jam now, aren't we?
I was going to go down the Bloomer joke, but I won't go there.
Can I just say about Eric's picture, though? I think he's seen the allegory. This is the face of a clown, which is growing. It grows organically out of the original picture, and that shows. And actually, I think what it's saying is the clowning glory is of the communist rule of this area is now growing in an organic fashion into something fabulous.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Good afternoon to Andrea, who's joined us, as is Keith. Hello, Keith.
Is that the Andrea we know?
That's your boss.
My boss, yeah. Hello,
you. Oh, the Andrea who donated to my leukemia foundation. I like that.
She's nice, isn't she?
Keith Rogers.
Who's he?
I'm going to slap that
Keith
man.
Rogers?
Yeah, he says, good afternoon, Uncle Eric. Like I'm old enough to be your Uncle Keith. Yeah, right.
Good afternoon, Uncle Keith.
And the lovely Kat Andrews, who's apparently been banned from Facebook again, or blocked.
Who hasn't?
He says, good afternoon. Well, actually,
good afternoon.
No, because he's much more posher than that anyway. And anyway, he's my unofficial Doctor Who correspondent.
Is he indeed? Oh, of course he does.
He knows everybody in there. Poor flipping heck. He certainly does. Quick reminder of what's happening on Wednesday, and we'll be back with Storm Eric.
RTI.
February 13th, it's World Radio Day.
RTI.
Through FM, longwave, digital or the internet.
Radio hands you the mic, gives you the floor, listens to you.
RTI.
Radio, your anonymous access to verified information.
On the 13th of February, let's celebrate radio together with UNESCO.
RTI.
Plus a big hello to Rachel and Lee, which also comes from Keith.
That's very nice of you, Keith.
Isn't he?
We'll say hello to you now.
He's a very nice man. Storm Eric.
Yeah, go on.
is set to batter Britain.
It is, with a load of hot air.
There'll be fish and chips called Eric everywhere. With 70-mile-an-hour gale winds, there's actually, being serious from it, there's also been a hell of a lot of issues in the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. And by the way, everybody in the Republic, we still love you. It's just your politicians, like the British ones, and
Who are being
the ones
silly.
who are being silly. Politicians couldn't organise one in a brewery, you know.
Well, they could, but that's where they should be.
What, drunk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they are, actually. Do you know how much booze is drunk in the House of Commons bars?
Well, yeah, that's why they've got their own brand whiskey.
Absolutely. That's what we paid them to do. Go and get drunk. We are. Here's £80,000 a year. We'll also give you a flat, so when you're too drunk to get home, you only have to go round the corner.
Actually, sorry, Rach.
Sorry, Rach.
Have you actually tried the House of Commons, or House of Parliament whiskey?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I don't like whiskey.
it's a single malt.
Is it?
It's flipping
I
awesome.
bet you only have doubles, though.
Well, I bought a bottle.
Did you?
Yeah. when I was there.
We've all been to the Houses of Parliament.
Excuse me,
dear.
but I was stood up talking like what I do now.
Not after a bottle of whiskey, you weren't.
No, I had the bottle of whiskey afterwards. I was stood there, studied up in front of a parliamentary committee, talking like I am now, like not.
I've sat in the Houses of Parliament covering it for newspapers.
I was the man making the news.
I've sat in a house laughing at Parliament.
Dave says, Eric has already arrived. Is that like the man from Tunbridge
heck.
Wells?
Yeah.
A bin,
Have you heard a bit of wind then? Sorry.
apparently a bin had blown over when he went to the station this morning.
A bin?
Yes.
So you've been there?
Dear, oh dear. That was a tumbleweed moment.
I don't care. I like tumbleweed moments.
Anyway, an orange wind warning. Try saying that fast. An orange wind warning has been issued for Galway, Mayo, and to Donegal. I can understand Galway, definitely, because it's terribly, terribly windy there.
Why is it only in Ireland? Why
No,
are they
they-
only having wind in Ireland?
They've got orange alerts. In,
orange. Don't eat any oranges in Galway.
oranges
Mayo,
in Ireland. Guess what they've got in England?
Yellow.
Yes.
But
Funny
it's
that.
not so. Yellow wind. Now, yellow wind is very embarrassing.
Yes.
It is. The orange wind is just Donald Trump, isn't it?
No. Apparently there is going to be some climate change as we head towards the next decade, according to the Met Office. And it's not uncommon. It's going to be the warmest 10 years since record began in 1850. But there again, it was warmer then as well, so who cares? It's all the cycle.
It isn't. It's very important. You always
It's a
dismiss
cycle.
this. You're just like Donald Trump. You dismiss this like it doesn't matter. It does matter, doesn't it, Rachel?
Yes, it does matter.
I know it matters, but it's a cycle.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter this cycle. You can't fix a bell on one. And this is really important.
Excuse me.
Actually, to be fair, he probably could fix the bell.
Yes, probably. But no, my point is, instead of being, if it's like somebody did yesterday on Facebook, they got an old image of a march in London.
Yeah.
Posted it up and said, "Oh look, the BBC haven't covered this today. Look at all the thousands of people."
What's that got to do with
No,
climate change?
I'll get there. The point is, the picture was from weeks and weeks ago. It wasn't
Yeah,
current.
yeah.
So I said to this guy, the trouble is when people get all dramatic about situations, they get lost, and in actual fact, they devalue their argument rather than increase the value of the argument. And that's what I'm saying about climate change. There's too much panic, everyone's going to die. And people just go, okay, if we're all going to die, then I'm not interested.
There's
Whereas
a difference between the Met Office and some idiot on Facebook.
But it's the people. Now, we did, in fact, you were involved in this.
Don't point at me.
We were involved. I'll tell you what, do you know what? We can all help today
Yeah.
with climate change.
Yeah. Why is it so hot here and I'm sitting in my scanties?
I don't know.
That's climate
but
change.
we can all help the whole of the world, Mother Earth, today.
Yes.
We can.
Go on, then.
And do you know how we can do that?
Put your plastics in the right.
Go on.
No. Something even, you can be lazier than that, Rach.
Go on, then.
Stop expelling methane.
No. Easier than that, Rach.
No, that's not easy to stop.
99.999% of people clean their teeth at least once a day. and we leave the tap on throughout the whole thing. If you get a glass of water, put your toothbrush in there to make it wet, put your toothpaste on, when you finish with it, you rinse your toothbrush out, you put some fresh water in. The difference, and it's been scientifically proven, is the difference between 2 glasses of water and a complete sink full of water. Not only that, do you know what, boys and girls? You will save yourself some money.
How will that stop climate change?
Because it's the whole... If you start somewhere that's simple,
Oh,
people
yes,
get
I
into
guess.
it.
Okay, I agree. But
You're
you've
talking
got
about creating good habits.
Correct, Amondo, Rach.
climate change. If you think everybody around here in Poprad is talking about the way the climate has changed here. Now we should be in the depths of winter with snow all over. We should be freezing.
Yeah,
And
there
it
will be
isn't.
in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, but it's
No,
freezing.
there
It's not-
won't.
It's like summer. I'm sitting here like
Rachel
a
doesn't want the
snow.
snow. Yeah, but the truth is, outside,
That's
it's about...
because it's changed.
No, it's about -2 outside.
It's changed. We
But
never
you
used to
don't
have-
feel it.
We've not had snow like we've had in Britain for decades.
No, true.
So climate has changed, and that's because we've got a big hole in our nose.
Back to Rachel again, because there's a bit of a crisis in Australia with the banking boys.
Oh, yeah, this has been a while coming, actually. There was a royal commission into the banks that the government ordered, finally, after much banging and carrying on from the likes of moi. And it has now been found that, yes, the banks have been doing naughty things and charging us where we shouldn't be charged, etc., among other things. But they've got after them full force, and one of the worst offenders is the National Australia Bank. And they, the CEO and some other dude, higher up, they have resigned as a result. And when we say resigned, we actually know what that means, don't we?
Yeah.
So they've been probably given their $2 billion golden handshake and sent on their way.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there's more to come. Watch this space, because this Royal Commission was only released. The findings were only released about 2 days ago.
That's right, yeah, so they just hit the streets.
Oh, I've got to quickly, I know we don't have this on the list, but I've got to really quickly mention it. There was a fire in Melbourne on Spencer Street, one of the main
Yeah, there was a
streets in
huge fire,
CBD.
wasn't there? Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a very big fire, which could have been worse and could have killed people. But they have found that it was the flammable cladding on the building that went up. So there's a huge row now about cladding. There was a huge row about cladding when Grenfell happened. When that happened, we had a good look at our cladding. But now they're saying there's 60, potentially 70 buildings that have this cladding on it, and they're not going to tell anybody about it because they fear arsonists.
Oh, my Lord.
So if you live or work in one of those buildings, they're not going to tell you.
But they probably will do covertly.
They will have to, because
They'll have
that's
to, yeah.
negligent right there. But how
Absolutely.
interesting is this? The cladding strikes again.
I know, it's shocking. The world's richest man, that's the guy who founded Amazon.com. I love this guy. I just think he's wonderful.
He's the best.
He really is the best. He's been accused by a US gossip magazine of trying to blackmail him over some naughty pictures. Now, what most people would do at that point, and I know because there's so many fraudsters do it on the internet, they go, we've got pictures from your webcam of you watching pornography on your computer. No, they haven't, you numpties, go away. Although I have to say, I think the trend of that is decreasing. Anyway, so the National Enquirer has a pop at Jeff Bezos, and he says, do you know what, boys? I'm going to publish all this stuff of yours threatening me, and I'm going to publish the rest of it because we've sorted it all out. You don't care. You're not important. Who the heck do you think you are to have a pop at me? And do you know what? I wish more people would stand up like this.
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. You have to say, though, the National Enquirer, I worked for the National Enquirer a long time ago, but their checking policy of checking facts and making sure everything is cast iron, that's why they don't really ever get sued, right? Oh, they do get sued. That's not fair. They do get sued, but not very often, considering what they do. Their checking procedure is far beyond any other newspaper in America or indeed in the UK.
I get that, but what he's saying is, hang on, I didn't come to you and try to get freebie advertising out of you, yada. Because actually, he's one of the guys that, if you look at the media like all three of us do, he doesn't go courting the media.
He doesn't need to, really, does he?
No, he doesn't need to.
Well, no, when he started, he did, but he still didn't do it.
But it is still news when somebody like him is going through a divorce.
Of course.
It's celebrity news. He is a celebrity.
Yep.
And for him to have been taken on by the National Enquirer in this way, and then to fight back in the way he did, yeah, good on him.
Good on you, mate.
Yep.
A hedge fund billionaire has donated £100 million to Cambridge University. I will have to shut up because Rachel will shout at me otherwise, and so it'll be Lee and Rachel discussing this topic.
Well, I think it's a really good thing, don't you, Rachel, that this bloke has given £100 million to Cambridge University. And that's David Harding.
I do. I think it's brilliant. I think it's wonderful. I think more philanthropists should donate to higher learning institutions.
Yeah, a university spokesman said that David and Claudia Harding Foundation made the donation and it would propel the £500 million fundraising that they need to educate people to a high standard in the UK and around the world. They have had 20% of that just bunged to them by a billionaire. Well done, David Harding.
And you know what? It's their money and they can do what they like with it.
Are we finished?
Yeah, we're finished now. It was
a
boring story.
Anyway, we're going to move on. Authorities in Australia are at it again. They're panicking and investigating an attempt which was just a few hours ago, talk about hot news on this programme, in an attempt to hack into the Parliament computer network, Rach.
Well, I don't think they're going to find anything because, what they're going to find the work of morons, such as, Facebook searches and, online chess and stuff like that. They're not going to find anything, and probably a lot of pornography. But yeah, apparently they've had this.
You've got such a low valuation of your parliamentarians.
Well, I do because they're in this sort of revolving door kind of a deal, and every time you turn around, we've got a new prime minister. Every time you turn around, somebody's being sued for sexual harassment. Every time you turn around, some guy's left his wife and impregnated his assistant, and it goes on and on and on and on. It's a joke, but apparently there's no evidence that there was an attempt to hack. And no evidence.
This really is a non-story, isn't it?
No,
it really is.
There is.
Like I say, they're not going to find anything.
No, but there is a good point here to remind everybody. In stories like this, never put your dongle in the hole without checking it.
Never, terrible. And never put your dongle in the hole without some sort of protection.
Absolutely.
And if you do, pull it out quick.
Something like that.
And I think that the big thing we get from this is change your password regularly.
She brought it so back to normality, didn't she?
Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, Dave says dental tips on PFP, real consumer advice. We can do that, It's been known. Do you know
something to get your teeth into, David?
Oh, do you know what, Dave?
It's let us help you week.
Yes, exactly. But sometimes we do stuff, and it works.
Yes, it does sometimes.
I mean, it's a shocking thing. We write it in a diary, put it on the wall. We make huge notes about it, and then we just forget that we did it once before because normally we make a mess of it.
Well,
yes, all right, I'll go with that.
Lee scrubs it out because he wants to play noughts and crosses.
Well, that is true, actually. Yes, he's very good at that.
I can only spell OXO.
We can do a quick reminder again, boys and girls. Don't go away.
RTI.
February 13th, it's World Radio Day.
RTI.
Through FM, longwave, digital or the internet.
Radio hands you the mic, gives you the floor, listens to you.
RTI.
Radio, your anonymous access to verified information.
On the 13th of February, let's celebrate radio together with UNESCO.
RTI.
And thanks to UNESCO for the nice little jingle as well.
Yes, they did a lovely jingle.
Lovely.
They did, really.
That was a nice jingle. I like a nice jingle, and that was one.
That is a nice jingle, actually. And thank you, Dave. There we were, bestowing the virtues of our professional consumer top tips. And what he says is only on a rare occasion.
Naughty David.
Look, Uncle Dave.
Uncle Dave! Yes!
Grandad Dave!
Uncle Dave, fit in or fly away?
Oh, that was very, very thespian, dear.
No.
Oh, dear, it was very thespian,
She
dear.
is a big thesp.
Well, I know she's a thespian.
Yes.
What's the proper title?
I know it is. That means she's an actress.
Correct. An Indian...
After I shave my head, I'm going to look like a big old thespian.
Actually, you look like Sinead O'Connor, won't you?
I'll be one of those bald chicks that's all about the earrings. You know what? Robbie's actually a bit cross with me. I've been online for the last 2 weeks buying a various array of head adornments, such as, hats and scarves and, other type
How
head
long will it
arrangements.
take your hair to grow
You
again?
want one of those hats with the corks on it.
Oh, yes. The one I couldn't find for love
If
of me
you've
to
got the
bring you.
bottle.
I couldn't.
Could you not?
I couldn't find one when I was coming out to see you guys. I couldn't find cork hats for the life of me.
Oh, shame. Rach, I think Dave actually likes the term uncle that you gave him.
Oh.
Well, guess what? It's here to stay, Uncle Dave.
Oh, it's Uncle Dave and Auntie Beeb.
Do you think we should do a jingle?
Jingle, if you want to do it.
Yeah.
We should do a jingle for...
Between us now.
Well,
Invented one. Or do
No,
one.
we'll do one in the office with Rach.
Yeah.
And then we'll play it on PFP. Whenever he comes on, and we
Yeah.
see him come on Facebook, we go, "Hello, Uncle David!"
Yes, I
Yes.
think that'd be really good. I
Yes.
was going to do an Uncle David voice.
You
but I
must
couldn't.
must behave. It's Uncle Dave.
He's
Uncle
oh,
Dave!
yes! I like, do that again, Rach.
You must behave. It's Uncle Dave.
There you go, you see.
But change it to we must behave.
Yes.
It's Uncle Dave.
Oh, yes.
Go on, Rach, try it again.
Must behave. It's Uncle Dave.
There we go, you see. An Indian man has said that he's going to sue his parents for giving birth to him.
Good on him.
What an idiot.
Why is he an idiot?
He's
we
a
didn't have to be
snowflake.
brought into. He says that they didn't consult him before they connubialed and gave birth to him.
What a load of nutties.
Where were they
He's
supposed
a
to do
genius.
that? Like, it's where they're supposed to send a telex. What's going on there? Like, how do you communicate that?
So it's
But you
going to
know
be
what?
an
This is
interstellar
actually
telex, is it?
This is not too crazy an idea when you get down to it, because when people adopt, they choose a child.
Yeah.
Now, no child gets to choose their parents.
No.
Never. So there's a good reason why if you get a dud, you should be able to sue someone.
Yeah.
If you get a dud parent, you
I
should be
know.
able to sue.
I think it's a bizarre idea, and it's the fact that where his argument falls down is because he said they didn't consult him before they conceived.
How could they do that?
Exactly. So it's
What
a bit of a
numpty.
Yeah, he's a bit of a numpty. But in principle, a lot of people could actually sue their parents because of the way they've treated them throughout their life. And actually,
Yes.
people have taken parents
I
to
know
court
they
on
have.
that basis. Yeah.
But the trouble
Well,
is, you start to
can
get
emancipated.
well, you get the snowflakes coming in going, "Oh, Daddy touched my arm. I'm going to sue him." And you go, "What? He was only stopping you falling over, you idiots."
Yes.
Do you know where the phrase snowflakes comes from?
What? I did actually, but I forgot.
It's absolutely nothing to do with the way it's being used now.
Oh no, it's been stolen.
Yeah, it's been stolen from the film Fight Club, the most violent film, and the snowflakes were the people who carry on.
But it's like
Forgot what they were,
having
though.
a gay day, isn't it?
It's
Because
yeah.
having a gay day when I was a kid was having a fun day.
Exactly, it's like playing
yeah.
on my gay guitar.
Yeah.
That's a wholly different meaning than it was when it was written in 1956.
Now see what you've done, Rach.
Oh no,
Rach.
No.
David's
What?
done his own jingle.
No, no, you don't. We've got to do the jingle again, Rach, with the wee bit and Uncle Dave. Can you do it in 3, 2, 1, go?
We must behave. It's Uncle Dave.
No, you had a little clip on that. We'll have
Yeah,
to do it again.
did a click.
What? What?
We had a click.
You did a click.
Oh.
You going to do it?
I'm waiting for you to count me.
Oh, sorry. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Yes. We must behave. It's Uncle Dave.
Well, there you go. That's not bad. There was a little bit of popping on it, but we
Yeah, a
can.
little bit of popping.
But we can cope with that. That'll be all right. He's going to
Should we
use.
give him a manly one as well?
Well, you can do one.
We must behave. It's Uncle Dave.
Shall I do one?
Yes, you do.
I do one as well. Okay. You must behave. It's Uncle Dave. There you go.
Very nice.
He's going to put him in his show.
We covered this.
Good on it.
Facebook has ordered, or Facebook's been ordered by Germany to gather less data.
Yeah.
Which is completely silly because the Germans won't have a complete clue about what they do because most of the German lawmakers are over 25, which means they couldn't tune a push bike bell, the same as politicians around the rest of the world.
And Eric Wiltshire.
Well, that's true.
E flat, I'm telling you.
E flat, very good. No, are you actually? Do you know what, Rach?
What?
What's that?
You did say E flat, didn't you?
I did.
Thank you. That was the instrument I used to play in the jazz band, an E flat bass.
Nice.
An E flat?
An E flat bass, yeah.
Is that like an apartment?
No.
No.
He's such a philistine, this boy.
But good try, Uncle Lee.
What do the Americans call it? A tuba.
A tuba?
A tuba, yeah.
That's a daffodil.
No, a tuba. The smaller versions of
You used to
euphonium.
play a daffodil.
I can't tell you where I used to play because it's now terribly
And they had a yellow warning for that as well.
Yes, it's now terribly embarrassing. Oh dear.
Oh no, what?
Cat Andrew's Alexa died on him. Oh.
Actually, I have to tell you very briefly, Andrew John T, who's a friend of this show, was telling me yesterday that Alexa has fallen out with his girlfriend Sophie.
Really?
He won't talk to her. In fact, I think we'll do the story on that next week.
I can't. I'd like. Part of me would love to go right now and buy an Alexa.
Let's go get one.
And the rest of me says, don't be blasted stupid, you'll never use it.
Well, let's buy one between us, then we can have joint custody.
Right.
Yes, it'll be like a menage a trois.
Yeah, but
you have got a rude mind today, haven't you? I think it's the thought of getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning that's doing it.
It's definitely well.
In all honesty, I don't get it because I suppose in our house and here in the office, I'm so close to a keyboard all the time. I don't have to worry about. Actually, if I had to speak to Alexa, I'd use more energy than just pushing one key on my keyboard.
But it's one of those things, it's just a silly thing, really, isn't it? Because it's like, I remember my uncle was very rich and he bought the equivalent of an Alexa going back 40 years, and it was to work his curtains. The curtains open and shut by him.
Clap your hands.
When he actually spoke, he had a thing that he spoke to, Alexa.
Yeah.
Well, the problem was, what he didn't realise was that he lived on a main road, and every time a bus went by, his curtains opened anyway because of the thing.
Yeah, but we had them. It's the same as. I dread to think how many years ago it is, but we had the company I worked for had an emergency call-out system, and none of us liked it because we had to work the weekend. So we'd all go where we were going to go, and the boss could never tell where we were, and you would call up.
Was this something you wore on your belt?
No, you just talk down the microphone.
Oh, right.
And you go, and I can remember it to this day. 1 1 1 1 1 1 1. And it would access the tape and play it back to you, see if there's any problems from the customers. And I've never forgotten that. I mean, the amount of times I was like 100 miles away from where the customer was would have, well, it doesn't matter. But, there was so much automation around. And I think one of the worst gadgets ever on the planet was a pager.
That's the one I had a pager. That was ridiculous.
Me too, they're horrible.
Oh, absolutely appalling.
Have you got a pager now, Rach?
Oh, no.
What's that?
No, I don't.
Does nobody use pagers now?
They do, actually, yeah.
I thought
I
they
think
did.
There are people
medical people still use them.
There was one company I worked for, the MD said, I'll give you a pager, Eric, so that I'll message you to tell me to call me. Well, why just don't you call me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Good point.
And there was mobile phones at that time, so it's black and around.
I remember I had a mobile phone and a pager.
Yeah, I know.
Ridiculous.
No, because in the early days, pagers worked in some areas that mobile phones wouldn't.
And I had a car phone.
Did you have one of those
Like
big heavy
Australia.
ones?
Yeah, it's sat on your dashboard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, in the centre thing, yeah.
It was like a huge battery box with his handset on the top.
Yeah.
Motorola 4000 here.
It was a Motorola.
There you go. You see, I'm so good at this. I don't know where. No wonder my head needs to be bigger.
Oh, it doesn't.
It
Oh,
does.
Surely
no,
not.
it doesn't.
It does, because I've got so much
Rachel,
stuff in there.
does he need to have a bigger head?
Then I'll never be able to get you a cork hat.
Oh, right. I keep looking on the interweb for them, Rach. Can't find them.
I'm looking for a hat
I'll
for you
find
anyway.
you one.
I'll
find one.
Because I
A
have...
helmet with corks on.
No, because I'm kind of being slightly more acceptant of my age a little bit.
Accepting.
But inside me, I'm still an idiot. Right?
Yes.
But
And you
externally...
can do that at any age.
But
really.
externally, it's like when it gets very cold here, because I do have a poorly right leg, which was my fault for falling off motorbikes. When it gets terribly cold, I sort of...
Well, you don't need a hat, you need a kneecap.
I've had to put one of those knee warmer things.
You just ignored my joke.
I did. It's the same with... I might have to, next winter, wear a hat.
I will buy you a hat. I have
No.
promised to buy you a hat.
But it's
It's got to be an ironic hat.
It's
you
got
see,
to
'cause
be-
He doesn't want a hat. So
I'm buying him a Poprad trilby.
I will
No,
find you.
I am not
cork hat.
wearing
I
a
will find
trilby.
you.
You
will
are.
travel-
You tried to nick my trilbies.
Yeah, right.
I'll travel this great land and I will find you one, Uncle Eric.
It's really annoying because my friend from Poprad, Stefan, he's got... It's a kind of cowboy hat without all the silly bits on it. But it looks like a cowboy hat. And I put it on and I go, oh, where'd you get it? He said, I don't know. Somebody bought it for me. We can't find out where it comes from.
I will give you... He's tried my trilbies on. He loves my trilbies, although he pretends not to like them.
My dad used to wear trilbies.
Oh, so your dad was very nice.
He was.
Well, don't be so rude about it.
I'm not, but he's my dad, and because he's my dad, I can't wear a trilby. Very quickly, Rosalind Franklin
Yeah, this is an interesting story.
is the Mars rover was named after the DNA pioneer, which I think is wonderful. We haven't got a lot of time to talk about it.
No, that's sad.
Yeah, but the good thing is we can say that it was named after her, which is a wonderful thing.
She invented DNA, really, didn't she?
Well, she didn't invent it.
Well, she was a pioneer of the
No,
DNA.
she discovered it.
Well, yes,
discovered
all right,
the-
yes,
the
I stand
use of
corrected.
DNA.
Yes.
Yes.
And she's being honoured on Mars with
And
a
I
dog.
think that's wonderful. I really do think that's wonderful.
I do too.
Witches have been casting spells to give Mr. Putin strength against evil forces. Why can't they just tell him to go to sleep forever?
Oh, that nice
Yeah.
Mr. Put It In.
Yeah.
Yeah, why can't they give him some sort of potion?
What, you mean the
Makes
one
him
that
go
goes to
makes
sleep?
him-
A potion for
Makes
Put
him
It
go
In.
non. Yeah, makes him go no nice.
Right. And I've got to squeeze this one in because Mr. Banks will love it. Oh, that's rather nice from you now. We've just been upgraded as a high-profile radio station.
That's very
sweet.
nice of you, thank you.
Thank you. Millennials are better at identifying songs made in the 1960s than they are today. That's
It is,
not
isn't
strictly
it?
true,
How can you deny it?
because when you look at the research properly, the headline suggests it's the 1960s. When you actually look at the whole thing, it's a whole range of music from the 1960s up to today.
Yeah.
And they do... Not just the the people who go, oh look, they all love the 60s music. Yes, a little bit.
And
1970s, and thank
Yep.
you, Rach, keep going, and the 80s,
80s and the
and
90s.
and the noughties.
And the noughties.
Yes, you see. So it's a bit of a Lee Banks red top
No,
headline.
not at all. The basic premise behind this story is that the music from the 70s and the 80s and 90s was a load of rubbish, and that's why people remember it.
Excuse me?
Excuse you.
Excuse me?
Excuse you. You've not done a yellow warning again, have you?
I just have. Now, I confess to being a child of the 60s, or born in the 50s, a child of the 60s.
I don't
Music.
say the 60s was a brilliant period of
And
music.
that was okay.
It was brilliant. It
The
was the best sound music
70s
ever.
was not so good,
Yeah, right, absolutely.
and the 80s was phenomenal.
The 80s...
So good.
It was all right.
Phenomenal.
I spent a lot of time in discos in the 80s, and some
Me
of the
too.
disco music was brilliant. The rest of the chart music was absolute rubbish.
Well, yes.
Thank you very much. Rachel, we agree.
Good heavens.
I don't
Rach,
know what to. I don't want to do that. Yes.
we got to go.
Bye, Rach.
I know.
Yeah, we
No, but
well, you've already told us what you're doing tomorrow.
Yeah, you're working 4 a.m. You've got to get
Yeah.
up. You better go to bed, you naughty girl.
Yes. See you later.
I know.
Bye-bye, Rach.
oh, bye.
Bye-bye, Sooty.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
And don't forget, on Wednesday the 13th, it will be World Radio Day, and we will be here, as always, doing our bit for World Radio Day with UNESCO. Thank you for the support, guys. Lee and I, and there will be special programmes throughout the day, 1 hour programme specials throughout the whole day, including the young Mr. Rhodes.
And you have to behave.
Indeed. This is what you're listening to.
The Station of the Stars. RTI.
This is not the BBC.
You're listening to RTI.